This is the Louie Tee Network.
Two teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring.
We're not done. We want it on the damn plate.
No, it's too late.
No point. Oh, you got one. You want another one too? I don't get it. One more. I said that too. Y'all trying to I said we need a pick him. We're gonna blow them out today. Send your ass whipping tonight. Yeah, beat the shit out of their ass.
Who else could it be but me, your me, Louie Tee? Welcome to my continued coverage of Super Bowl 51 here on the Louie Tee Network. Wow! What a football game we just witnessed. What you just saw was a little bit of footage, and I actually had more of my sister. I told you my sister is a huge Atlanta Falcons fan, and it was painful to watch. I actually had some second half footage. I chose not to show it. That was all first half footage, and then you got a little bit of the second half when they scored the touchdown to go up 25 at 28-3. I actually had some second half footage of her looking dejected. She started to not want me to film her, understandably so, as you could imagine. Then she started putting on a front every time I would turn the camera on, and so I just stopped filming her, and that was tough to watch. She tried to act like she was okay. She wasn't. We're going out for drinks on Friday. She's going to need them. I think this is going to be a tough week for her. She's already not looking forward to going to work tomorrow, and rightfully so. I mean, you're up 25. No team has ever blown more than a 10-point lead in any Super Bowl. We're on 51. No team has ever blown more than a 10-point lead. They blew a 25-point lead in this loss to the New England Patriots. We'll get to Brady, his legacy, what this win means, Belichick, all of that good stuff. But, man, I mean, I'm almost in shock, and I'm not even a Falcons fan. I totally thought the Falcons had this game at halftime. I felt like the Patriots were going to make this a contest. I said that at the halftime show, but I didn't think they would ever be able to get back into the game to the point where we would be going to overtime. The first ever overtime game in Super Bowl history. Unbelievable. I mean, as this was happening, you could see it unfolding. You kept waiting for something to happen that would turn the tide in the favor of the Falcons and say, oh, hey, Brady and them made a valiant effort, but no, you're not coming back from 25 down. Almost like a team in basketball that's down by 27. They make this furious run to cut it to 4 before losing by 11. That's what I thought was going to happen. And it just never did. The Falcons could never stop the bleeding. You thought after Julio Jones made that catch on the sidelines, this was it. This was going to be it. This is going to be the Falcons getting into field goal range and at least getting a field goal and putting this game out of reach. And then you have two massive plays by the Patriots. One, sack. The other, a holding penalty by Jake Matthews. And all of a sudden, the Falcons are nowhere close to field goal range, have to punt. And at that moment, I said to my sister, this game's going to overtime. My dad said, they still got to get the 2. I said, F the 2. Damn the 2. This game's going to overtime. Now, I still thought the Falcons would find a way to win this game. And God damn it, I hate when I'm right when I want to be wrong. And it's not often. I love being right. You know that. Come on. Who doesn't love to be right? I told you the Patriots were going to win this game. You saw the title of my video before the game even started. You knew where I stood. But I didn't want to be right. But I told you the Falcons needed to get to 30. Did I not say that? 31 would have won them this game. I said you needed to get to 30. They didn't follow directions. And when you don't follow directions, you don't get to pass go, you don't get a Super Bowl ring, and you damn sure don't get $200. No, you don't get to collect $200. Take your ass to jail. So they had to pay. And Tom Brady now has his 5th Super Bowl championship. He is in rarefied air. No one else will ever win 5 Super Bowls, ever, as a quarterback in this league. Ever again. Mark my words. No one will ever do this again. Bill Belichick, 5 Super Bowl rings as a head coach. No one will ever do this again. Not as a tandem, at least. This is unprecedented. We won't see this again. I can assure you of this. The Patriots and their dynasty, this was remarkable. This was unbelievable. This was unfathomable at halftime. Hell, in the third quarter, down 28-3, this game was done. Unbelievable. We're going to get into all of the particulars. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to Louie Tee Network. I don't need to go through the whole spiel. I don't really want to do that here. But all of my social media platforms right down below. Subscribe to Louie Tee Network. Follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Let's jump into this breakdown, though. This game was remarkable. I want to get to your comments. I want to hear from you guys. This was remarkable. We got to talk about this. So I'm going to jump into this breakdown quickly, and then we're going to get to your comments because I know there may be a sprinkle of Falcon fans in there. I don't expect a bunch of them. I know there are going to be a bunch of fans that just watched the game and just in awe of what they saw. And then there are going to be some Patriots fans that are extremely ecstatic at what just took place. But I want to get to all of them. I want to get to everyone that's watching. But in any event, first half, the play of the game, and I talked about this at the halftime show on Twitter, Deion Jones with the strip. This is a stalemate game, 0-0. No one's really doing much of anything offensively. Both defenses kind of feeling each other out, or I should say both offenses feeling each other out. Defense is really dominating and carrying the game thus far. And then Deion Jones makes the play of the game, and really what that amounted to was a 10 to 14 point swing. Patriots were in field goal range, okay? The way they were moving the football might have even gotten a touchdown out of possession. Deion Jones strips the football from LeGarrette Blount. And not only did that turn into a touchdown, but it took points off the scoreboard for the Patriots. He was playing a game. And really, from that point on, the Falcons dominated the first half. To me, had the Falcons won, that's the play you point to and you say, look, that's where this game was turned on its head. And the Falcons were able to dominate from that point forward. They run off 14 unanswered points before the Patriots, or really 21 after you get the Alford pick six, and we'll get to that play. But 14 straight points to take a 14-0 lead. They're hitting Brady, and I think one of the most discouraging things for a Patriots fan watching this game had to be the amount of hits Brady took in the first half. He was harassed, and I talked about this. You know what I said in the breakdown for this game. I talked about Patriots O versus Falcons D, Falcons O versus Patriots D. I talked about all of that. I talked about what needed to happen in order for that team to have success. And I talked about the Falcons needing to hit Brady, and I talked about the Patriots needing to protect Brady and keep him clean. You saw what happened at the end of the game when they kept Brady clean, okay? One of the best in the business. But early in the game, they couldn't do it. Grady Jarrett had himself a game. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. But Brady was harassed. They were hitting him from all over, okay? Guys were just getting to Brady, hitting him, harassing him, making him uncomfortable. And you saw the ill effects of that. He missed some throws, and no throw was worse than the interception that was picked off by Robert Alford and taken to the crib to give the Falcons a commanding 21-0 lead late in the first half. Brady was off, and you could tell he was being affected by the pressure. I told you, you get pressure on Brady, he's just like any other quarterback in this league. Some quarterbacks handle pressure better than others. Brady does not handle pressure well. He does not like to be hit. And the Falcons consistently hit him in the first half. They were the more physical team. They were the more physical outfit. 3rd and 1 on the first possession. They stopped LeGarrette Blount. Deion Jones was a man possessed in the first half and really the entire game. I thought he played a phenomenal football game, gave it everything he had, and he's been, like I said, I thought he should have been in the running for a Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was outstanding in this game, was outstanding all season long, and you saw it in this game. First 3rd down in the game, he shoots into the backfield, tackles LeGarrette Blount for a 3-yard loss, forces the fumble, reaches in the cookie jar, yum, eat him up, yum, eat him up, and gets the football out of LeGarrette Blount's hands, and which was a huge turnover that changed the whole complexity of the game in the first half. Deion Jones was outstanding. They were getting to Brady. They were forcing turnovers. They were physical. They were the more aggressive team. They got the stop at the end of the first half to force the Patriots to kick a field goal. It's 21-3. This game is being dominated. You saw my sister. You saw how she was feeling. This game was being dominated by the Atlanta Falcons. You come out in the second half, Falcons get a stop, or Patriots get a stop, and you're thinking, okay, you know, I got Falcons fans talking to me online, and my man Ahmed was giving it to me. He was like, man, you doubted us from day one. I'm saying, who didn't doubt you? Who didn't doubt you? I was ready to take my lumps. I was ready. The Falcons get stopped. The Patriots get, and the whole time, my man Eagle Speed is saying, we're going to lose this game. I said, dude, chill. You got this. Relax. When it was 28-3, he was still tripping. He was like, man, he wanted to believe, but he didn't want to let his guard down. And I said, well, look, it's Brady and Belichick. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. But you got this. But look, it's still Brady and Belichick. Respect the throne. Okay? Respect the throne. But this game should be in the bag. You guys have done a great job of front running this season. When you get leads, you don't blow them. That was until tonight. And so you went from a situation where you're up 28-3. They scored a touchdown. And this game looks like it's done. Patriots even scored a touchdown. They missed the extra point. It's 28-9. And you're thinking this game's done. And it's crazy. Because after that touchdown, it's like the Falcons turned it off. And all season long, I've praised them for keeping their foot on the gas pedal. And they didn't do that tonight. And give some credit to the Patriots. Okay? They made all the plays that had to be made defensively, including the biggest play of the game for them by Dante Hightower on a blitz, a missed blitz pickup by Devontae Freeman. Dante Hightower gets in, knocks the football loose. It's recovered by Alan Branch, and that was the game changer. They needed that. They had to have that. Without it, there's no tie football game. There's no overtime. There's no Patriots win in overtime. There's no Super Bowl win for the Patriots. It's a huge play. Guys stepped up on offense. Malcolm Mitchell was huge. And I really like Malcolm Mitchell. He stepped up in this game. Chris Hogan, quiet in the first half, stepped up in the second half. Those passes Brady was missing, like he missed a wide open Edelman in the third quarter, and you knew the Falcons are getting to him. Brady doesn't miss that throw. Another miss to Edelman. That was on a crosser. Across the field on a post route, wide open. Had him, missed him. Edelman down the sideline, wide open, missed him. They're in his head. Brady's not the same guy. But once they started to get the momentum, once the tide started to turn in the game, once the defense started getting stops, you could see Brady starting to get into a rhythm. He started to find James White, who set a Super Bowl record for most receptions in a ball game in the Super Bowl. He started to get into a rhythm. He started to hit guys. He started to get comfortable in the pocket. The Falcons defensively got tired. The offense wasn't sustaining. The Patriots kicked an onside kick. The Falcons recovered. Great field position. They go 3 and out. Unbelievable. Okay, they get the football back after the Patriots score another touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. After they had kicked a field goal to cut it to a 2-score game, down 16 at 28-12, the Patriots get another score and a 2-point conversion. Cut it to 28-20. Falcons drive it down the field. Julio Jones makes a magnificent catch. Are you kidding me? They're going to get a field goal. Another huge play by the Patriots. They get a sack and they get a holding penalty forced as Jake Matthews hog ties Chris Long out of field goal range. At that moment, I knew the Patriots were going to tie the game up. Now, I didn't know if they were going to win the game, but I knew they were going to tie this game up. And when they got the football back, Brady methodically drove. And you know what the thing that was most impressive? The Patriots never panicked. They weren't moving at a hyper speed, at this up-paced tempo. They weren't out of control. They just moved it down the field. They weren't rushing. They were composed, like a team that had been there before, done this before. The Falcons, they didn't handle the second half like a team that had been there before. You know why? Because they never been there before. And that's what I'm talking about. Let's not act as if the Falcons haven't been in close football games and didn't know how to manage, or haven't blown opponents out, had teams down and kept them down. They've done that. They did it against Seattle in a divisional round. They did it against Green Bay in a championship game. The difference here, this is the effing Super Bowl. Stakes are higher. They froze up. When the game was on the line, they had plays to make. Matt Ryan made a hell of a throw to Julio Jones, and Julio made an unbelievable catch. But it wasn't enough because they didn't do enough. The Patriots made all the plays down the stretch. Brady made all the plays down the stretch. The defense made all the plays down the stretch. They stopped the run. They got to Matt Ryan when they needed to. They made the plays. They forced the turnovers. They did everything that they had to do to get it done in this game. They converted 2-point conversions. Remember, that's the reason they lost the AFC Championship game last season, because they couldn't convert a 2-point conversion, because Steven Gostkowski missed an extra point in that game too. They converted twice in this game. Patriots did what they had to do to force overtime at 28 apiece. And I told my dad, I told my sister, I said, whoever wins the toss is winning this game. The Atlanta Falcons defense was dog tired when we got to overtime. The offense did nothing to help them in the second half of this game. They sustained no offense. They couldn't get off the field. The Patriots were doing what they wanted to do. From the midpoint of the third quarter, the Patriots dominated this football game. And even though at the end of the third quarter, they still were at a stalemate, they still were down like 28-9, the Patriots dominated this game. Time of possession, number of offensive snaps. The Atlanta Falcons defense was on the field. You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of the national championship game in college football. The Clemson offense just was on the field way too much. The Alabama defense got tired. They got worn down. And finally, the dam broke. The Atlanta Falcons defense wore down. And finally, that superior Brady-led Patriots offense took over. It reminded me of the national championship game. Alabama was leading that game for much of that game. Hell, the majority of that game. They dominated that game early. But the defense was on the field too much. And it cost them that game, and it cost the Falcons this game. Tom Brady is effing remarkable. Tom F. Brady. 5 Super Bowl rings. Count them. Bill Belichick, 5 Super Bowl rings. Count them. The B&B winning factory strikes again. Love them, hate them, respect them. 5 of those things. Count them. And I didn't want to be right, but I told you the Patriots were going to win this game. I didn't know how. And at halftime, it didn't look like it was going to happen. But never, ever doubt Brady or Belichick. I don't give a damn what the circumstance is. I don't give a damn what the situation is. It's Brady. It's Belichick. Don't you doubt them. And you found that out again tonight. And Brady took them. When they won that toss in overtime, I said, Brady's going to take them down the field. And I talked about matchups. It's all about matchups. And I said, Brady to the backside of the backfield is going to be huge. I thought it would be Deion Lewis. It ended up being James White tonight. Huge matchup. And I thought the Falcons would exploit it on their end, and they didn't. Brady took advantage of the backside of the backfield, and I talked about that as a matchup that they needed to win in this game. They needed to win third downs. When they were on the comeback trail, Brady won on third down, even won on a fourth down, a crucial fourth down. They don't pick it up. The game's over. 4th and 5 in their own territory, at their own 41. They don't pick that up. The game is over. They converted. Brady and company did what they had to do. With the game on the line, Brady showed you why he's the greatest of all time. GOAT. For those of you that don't know what it stands for, GOAT. Greatest of all time. Book it. Don't ever doubt that man. For those of you who ever step out of line, Tom Brady, greatest of all time. Go ahead and throw Bill Belichick in there too. Watch your mouth. Don't ever step out of line. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, greatest of all time. Let's get to y'all comments tonight, man. It's ridiculous. Unbelievable. I want to hear what you guys got to say. I'm at a loss for words. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Remember, if you're out there watching this video right now and you want to comment, you got something to say, use the hashtag LouieTeeLive to have your comment read live on the air. We're going to run through these comments. We're going to get through as many of them as possible because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this improbable comeback. This is extraordinary. I've never seen anything like this, not in the Super Bowl. No one has, okay? The biggest comeback to date until this game was 10 points. 3 times in the Super Bowl. The Patriots came back from 25 down in the third quarter. Wrap your brain around that. Wrap your brain around that. Jackie Guerrera says, I thought that the Falcons had it. I think everyone thought that the Falcons had it. I think that's a statement that I just about everybody could echo. Even Patriots fans thought the Falcons had this game at 28-3. Adrian Hernandez says, I can't believe what I just witnessed. I think you speak for just about everybody when you make that comment. Just about everybody probably feels the same exact way. Bossaholic says, I'm sad, and this is a Falcons fan. We're going to have a few of them sprinkled in here. I'm sad that the Falcons couldn't hold on, but we had an amazing season, and shout out to the Pats. They deserved it. And my sister, I told my sister, y'all had a great season. And I gave her a high five, and she gave it to me. She was in good spirits when she left. She's torn to pieces. I feel bad for her. She told her daughter, get dressed. Let's go. We're going home. She got out of here in like 0.5 seconds. So she had this big Super Bowl party, balloons, cake. We had all the works. You know, I was knocking them back. Boom, boom, boom. We having a good time. We partying. We high-fiving. And then Brady happened. And she didn't go home a happy camper. I felt bad for her. Because this is the worst possible way to lose. I'd much rather just get my ass whooped than to have a lead, look like I'm going to win, and then have it snatched from me at the end. It's like a kid that gets an ice cream cone, and it's triple layered with all of their favorite ice cream and toppings. They go to lick it, and somebody just takes it out of it. No, that's not your ice cream cone. You're not eating that. Shit! It's my ice cream cone! Not anymore. It's not. Bossaholic also says, but that being said, I'm going into my hole, won't touch anything NFL for 2 weeks, except for you, of course. Hey, I appreciate it. Look, if you don't touch anything of mine for 2 weeks, I wouldn't be mad at you either, man. I understand. It's one of those things as a fan where you just need time. Nothing's going to heal this but time. It's like a hangover. It's like a bad breakup. It's like somebody passing away in your life. Nothing but time is going to heal that wound. They say time heals all wounds. You need time. I understand. I get it, man. Do what you got to do. I'm not mad at you, man. Your boys had a hell of a season, but this isn't the way you wanted it to end. And at 28-3, this isn't the way it should have ended either. Let's get to some more of your comments. Eagle Speed says, you don't want to feel what I feel right now. It's horrible. It's harder for me because the Falcons never had a championship while the Redskins have like 3. Yeah, I understand. I get it. But it doesn't matter what the Redskins have. It doesn't matter what anybody else. It sucks because you had this one in your hands. You could actually taste the Lombardi. You could see it. You could touch it. You could hold it. You could actually kiss it. And then the Patriots took it from you before you could put your lips on it. And that stings. That stings. It really sucks. Eagle Speed also says, I don't see us getting back to the Super Bowl in a long time, and if we do, we'll choke again because Atlanta's cursed. Look, I understand the sentiments. I understand the feelings, and I can't tell you how to feel right now. So, and now you're going to lose your offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan is going to go off to San Francisco. So the future is not guaranteed to this Atlanta Falcons football team as far as the offensive side of football is concerned. I would like to see them upgrade from within, promote a guy in the building that knows this offense that will kind of carry on what Kyle Shanahan has put in place. But we'll see what they decide to do there. But no one's thinking about that right now. This is all about this Super Bowl and how they weren't able to hold on to a 25-point lead deep into the third quarter. So you got plenty of time to think about the offseason and what needs to be done. But this one stings. This one stings a lot. Slump TV says, second greatest Super Bowl I've ever watched. I'd love to know what the first one was, if this was the second. Because from start to finish, this was not a great game. This was a one-sided game for 2.5 quarters. And then the Patriots woke up midway through the third and really did a lot of damage in the fourth. So if this is not your most if this isn't the greatest Super Bowl you've watched, I want to know which one it was. There've been some great Super Bowl. Maybe the Patriots and the Seahawks. That was probably more of a back and forth seesaw battle for the entire game, and then ended with the pick. So maybe that's your number one Super Bowl. But this is the first Super Bowl that ever went to overtime. Ever! We've had 51 of these. 50 prior to this. This is the first one to go to overtime. So I don't know how any Super Bowl could trump this one. This was epic. The comeback was epic. The choke was epic. And the Patriots winning this game was epic. It just was an epic Super Bowl. And that's what we needed, because the playoffs were horrible. And this was en route to being a horrible game before the Patriots decided to turn it up, and before the Falcons decided that they weren't going to step on the gas pedal for the rest of the game and instead hit the brakes. So your boss says, I hate to say it, but Tom Brady is the GOAT now. F. I told you this game would do that. If you were on the fence, if you were a hater, you're going to have to admit after this game that Tom Brady's the greatest you've ever seen. Period. End of discussion. Nothing else to say. And he won this game, and the way that he won it, even if you wanted to deny him greatness, the way that he won this one, coming back down from 25, there's nothing you can say after this other than, shit, Tom Brady's the best ever. Yes, he is. Disco Jump Rope says, I'm so hurt, bro. Another Falcons fan. I understand your pain. I can't sympathize with you because I'm not a Falcons fan, but I watch my sister in pain. I watch my sister pack up her things in 0.5 seconds and go, much faster than slow. So I know. I watched it very closely. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. Kazai says, you're rubbing the wound with salt there, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. that wasn't my intent, but I just wanted to show my sister's emotions throughout the game. And like I said, I had more footage, but she's still my sister. Above all else, I didn't want to show her in her times of desperation, a lot of rocking back and forth like Bobby Cox. If you're a Braves fan, I'm a Braves fan. I didn't want to show all of that. She didn't want me to show that either. So I respect that, man, especially after this loss. Had they won, I would have showed everything because she would have been cool with it. But after this, she doesn't want that shown, and that's fine. DeMonte Barino says, stop trolling me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, man. Captain Spartan 04 says, I remember once watching 1,000 Ways to Die and someone died from choking on a hot dog in a hot dog eating contest. I think the Falcons choked even harder than that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. 25 points, though? Wow, unreal. Brian Emerson, my man BE, says, man, what a game. Sorry to all Falcons fans. Yeah, it was a tough one. Pamel Productions says, Tom Brady just solidified himself as the GOAT of football. To see him and the Pats go through this much adversity through the season and pull this off, there's truly no one like him. And I talked about that in my Brady legacy video for the Super Bowl. And I think you just pretty much hit it on the head. The Pats, there were times where they showed Brady on the sidelines looking dejected. They were down big. They were dead. They were dead in the water. There was a shot of Edelman, Amendola, and Brady all sitting next to each other on the bench, and nobody was saying anything. There were no words. No one had an answer. They were just getting their ass handed to them. And they picked themselves up off the canvas, as a champion usually does. Look, all champs get knocked down at some point. It's how you respond to that adversity. As a boxing fan, you got to find a way to battle through adversity. They did that in this game. They were down on the canvas a couple of times, not just once. This wasn't an Andre Ward knockdown, okay, versus Kovalev. They were down multiple times in this fight. This was like Julio Cesar Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor, okay? They were down to their final seconds in the fight, and they rallied back and stole it right at the end. This was historic. Brian Emerson says, what a game, man. Yes, it was a hell of a game. Newscaster News 4 says, that game makes up for all the other crappy playoff games we sat through. I couldn't agree with you more, man. That was the perfect way to end this season. Sean McKenzie says, what an incredible game. Yes, it was. Again, for fans that didn't have a team nor a dog in this fight, just to see a game this competitive, and the way it started, it looked like it was going to be a laugher, a joke, like the rest of the games in the playoffs, other than the Packers and Cowboys. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves an epic thriller. And for all of the people who checked out early, shame on you. You know, this is why you stick around. This is why you watch the game. And again, it was Brady and Belichick. It'd be one thing if this was a team that didn't have a track record of doing extraordinary things and making the impossible look ordinary. But this is Brady and Belichick. Don't you dare turn off your television set. Don't you dare pack your things up and go home early. Don't you dare leave this game. Don't you dare turn the channel. It's Brady and it's Belichick. Are you crazy? Brian Ma says, I knew the Falcons would lose after they chose to wear their home jerseys when Matt Ryan won MVP. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but wow. Josh Berman says, Brady is the GOAT. And like I said on my Brady legacy video, this game was going to solidify that for him. If he could find a way to win this one, I didn't know it would be in the epic fashion that it ended up coming in. But if he just won this game, he was going to solidify his status among NFL quarterbacks. In the pantheon, he was going to be at the top. This game was going to do that for him. And like I said, he was already there for me. But for all the people on the fence, all the people that didn't like Brady, hates Belichick, hates the Patriots, all of that stuff, you can't deny what you saw tonight. 5 Super Bowls. Down 25. The biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. Authored by the greatest quarterback in Super Bowl history. The greatest quarterback in NFL history. You can't knock the hustle. I don't care how much you don't like him. You do respect him. You will respect him. You must respect him. He's the best of all time. GOAT. Greatest of all time. That would be Thomas Brady. Your boss says, today, God give all the luck to the Boston sports team. First, Paul Pierce retires in a good way. Now the Patriots come back from a 25-point lead. Yeah, that was an epic comeback. And Paul Pierce hit a 3 at the end. If you didn't see it, it was a great way to send him off. It was a good day for the today. In the great words of Ice Cube, today was a good day for the Boston fans. Indeed, this was epic. The Black Al Bundy says, "Uneffing believable, my dude. The Falcons froze up, shaking my head." I hate to put it that way, but those bastards took their foot off the gas pedal, and the crazy part is they haven't done this all season long. They didn't take their foot off, and I talked about this. They haven't taken their foot off the gas pedal all season long. Not once. We saw what they did to Green Bay. They said, oh, Aaron Rodgers going to try to come back? We're going to put 44 on their skull. Oh, the Seahawks think they're going to come back? Oh, we're going to put damn near 40 on their skull. They haven't taken their foot off the gas pedal this season. They were in a shootout with New Orleans earlier in the season. They put up damn near 50 in that game. They've never taken their foot off the gas pedal until this game. And it just happened to be the biggest of them all, the granddaddy of them all. And they take their foot off the gas pedal at the wrong goddamn time. Un-effing believable. Just like my man Black Al B said. Corey Fitterman says, man, that was the most epic Super Bowl ever. Man, Tom Brady, the GOAT. I told you we're going to hear this a lot if they won this game. And I've read at least 7 comments that have mentioned Tom Brady as the GOAT. Sean Mack says, it went from New England Browns to the Atlanta Browns. Hashtag LOL. Brian Emerson says, why didn't they have a booth review on the winning touchdown? It was a touchdown. I thought at first, oh, wait, he's down. No, my sister already had her jacket on. She had her purse. She was ready to go. And I said, don't wait. Don't leave. Don't wait. Wait. Don't leave yet. Okay, it's a touchdown. You can leave now. It was a touchdown. There was no reason to review that. It was a touchdown. Captain Spartan 04 says, no team has ever blown an 18-point lead in the playoffs, let alone in the Super Bowl. Like I said, the highest point total blown in terms of a lead in the Super Bowl was 10, 3 times. 25? Remember, just again, I talked about wrapping your brain around the Patriots making their 7th Super Bowl appearance with Brady and Belichick and their 9th total as a franchise. Like, wrap your brain around that. Wrap your brain around the fact that the Falcons held a 28-3 lead in this game. Midway through the third quarter. Wrap your brain around that. Like, seriously, think about that. Let it soak in for a second. Do you know how much has to go wrong for you to blow a 25-point lead in a game? Let alone with literally less than half of the game remaining? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sean Mack says, Julio Jones and Julian Edelman with incredible catches. That Edelman catch, that's when I knew the Patriots were going to win. Right there. I didn't want to admit it. Even though I picked the Patriots to win, I didn't want to admit it. But that reminded me of the David Tyree catch. And my dad has a saying, and I've used this with you guys before, where if something like that happens, generally that means that team's going to win the game. You know the rules to the game. My dad tried to deny it. And I said, boss, you know the rules to the game. Then play. You know, he said, I'm going against what I normally say. I said, well, don't. You know the rules to the game. Play. When Edelman made that catch, it was ball game. I said, the Patriots are winning this game. There's no way they're not going to win this game now. It's unbelievable. Corey Fitterman says, you called it, bro. If Atlanta scored under 30, then they were going to lose. I told you. I told you before the game, and I told you I love being right first and foremost. I love being right, but I didn't want to be right this time. I didn't want to be right. And I said, if Atlanta wants to win, they needed to score more than 30 points in this game. That was the rule going in because I've watched the Falcons, much like every team in the league. I've watched them all season long. And the one thing that I knew is if this game got mucked up and it got physical and nasty, and they were physical early, but they got tired late. I said, if this game doesn't get into the 30s, they won't win. They have to make it to 30. And if they would have made it to 30, they would have won this game. All they needed was a field goal. One field goal, and they win this game. If they score 31, they win. I told you they just needed to get to 30, and they couldn't do it. DeMonte Barino says, missed face mask on Patriots killed the field goal. Yes! I'm glad you brought that up. It should have been offsetting penalties. Okay, they called holding on Jake Matthews. They should have also called a face mask penalty on the tackle on Mohamed Sanu going out of bounds. They missed that one. I agree. That should have been a face mask penalty. They should have had the down done over again. And if they would have done that again, they probably would have gotten a little short completion. Even if they don't catch anything, it would have been a 53-yard field goal. You telling me Matt Bryant can't knock home 53 yards in a dome in Houston? Come on, he would have knocked that home. But I think they would have got 5 because the Patriots were going to give up 5 or 6 yards on 3rd and 23. Okay? They were going to give that up. So they missed that call. Should have been offsetters. They should have got that down over again. You are spot on. They missed that call. Absolutely. The Blackout Bundy says, the MVP again loses in the Super Bowl. Hashtag rigged. Hashtag Brady slurp fest. Look, I understand the hate. Hate. Bottom line is, I've said it before and I'll say it again. How many times does the number one offense win in the Super Bowl? How many? I actually heard on Fox today. And I didn't know this when I made the video yesterday, but I just told you, I don't recall many times where that potent juggernaut offense wins in the Super Bowl. It generally doesn't happen. We've heard the saying before, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. How many times have we heard that? But it's true. The only number one offense to beat the number one defense, 1989 San Francisco 49ers over the Cincinnati Bengals. The only time. It doesn't happen often. The number one scoring offense usually comes in thinking, hey, we're going to do what we want to do, and they get their ass steamrolled. That didn't happen in this game, but the Falcons ran out of juice. The defense, which was carrying them, and I told you at halftime, everybody wanted to talk about the offense. I said, I don't want to talk about the offense. I want to talk about this Falcons defense because they're dominating. They got no help from the Falcons offense in the second half. They were on the field way too much, and it showed, and they paid the price in the second half of this game. Let's get to some more of your comments. The Laughing Samoan says, classic example of playing not to lose. Yeah. Falcons basically put it on cruise control. After they got to 28, they thought this game was over. And instead of them playing against the Patriots, they started playing the clock, and it benefited the Patriots, and it backfired on them, and it ended up blowing up in their face, and they ended up losing the game. Absolutely a classic example of playing not to lose. They started playing the clock instead of playing their opponent. And when you start playing the clock instead of your opponent, generally you lose the football game. Eagle Speed says, I don't think this game was rigged, but I am mad. I count rigged as Super Bowl 47 or even Super Bowl 50 low key. But man, I can't believe what I just watched. And that's a Falcons fan talking there. Jaleel says, they should have ran it. Again, 3rd and 2 when Coleman got hurt. Patriots were doing a really good job of stopping the run in 3rd and short situation. Really, both teams did a magnificent job, a phenomenal job of stopping the run in 3rd and short situations. They weren't giving it up in this game on 3rd and short. So that was just a missed assignment by Devontae Freeman. He's got to find a way to pick that blitz up. His eyes were totally in the wrong place. And really, what you want to do in that situation is block inside out, the most imminent threat and danger to your quarterback. That's the guy you want to take. So he was looking inside. And what turned out to be the most imminent threat was the guy that he didn't block on the outside coming off the edge, and Dante Hightower, and he got to Matt Ryan and forced that fumble, and that was the turning point in the game. I think there was a turning point in the game in the first half, another fumble. That one was forced by Deion Jones and the Falcons. This one was the turning point in the second half of the game and ultimately decided the game to me because the Patriots needed that turnover. They don't get that turnover. If the Falcons just punt there, the Patriots aren't going to win this game. They're going to run out of time. Instead, that was a huge play, and that really tipped the balance of the scales in the favor of the Patriots as Brady continued to show why he was the greatest, why he is the greatest of all time. Ed says, Tom Brady is the GOAT. This was a great game. Andrew Kim says, with the Pats winning tonight, you know what I'll be drinking. That fruit punch, though. He says, but seriously, I want Brady to retire at the top of his game, LOL. Look, Brady isn't going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I read an article before this game that stated that the Patriots are looking to give Tom Brady a 3 to 5 year extension after this season is done. They expect him to play another 3 to 5 years. I said this in the legacy video. He's not going anywhere. Like, normally at this point, you can see the finish line. There's no finish line in sight for Tom Brady right now. You can't say, well, I see a drop-off in Tom Brady. Maybe he's going to be done in the next 2 years or so. Tom Brady is still playing at a very high level right now. He came in second in the MVP voting. Are you kidding me? Did you just see what he did in his Super Bowl? Tom Brady's not going anywhere. He loves playing football. And until someone knocks him off the mountaintop, stops the Patriots from going to the Super Bowl every other year, he's going to keep playing, and he's going to keep kicking ass. Sean Mack says, Atlanta coaching lost that game, in my opinion. Maybe, maybe not. The players are on the field. They need to execute. Jake Matthews shouldn't get beat and hold on 3rd and 23 when you're just looking for a field goal. That shouldn't happen. Matt Ryan can't take a sack on 2nd down when you know you're in field goal range and all you need is a field goal. You can't take a sack there. You're a veteran quarterback. You're the MVP. You cannot take a sack there. He did. Is that coaching? You know what I didn't like? I didn't like the fact that the Falcons had 0 timeouts with 57 seconds left when they got the football back. 52 after the kickoff. I didn't like that. You know how I feel about second half timeouts. When they were wasting them, they were up big. I said, oh, it doesn't matter. They don't need them. Came back to haunt their ass at the end with that last possession. They needed timeouts. They had none. That's why you don't waste second half timeouts. You know what I like to say with that. I'm not going to even repeat it now. But you know how I feel about second half timeouts. And they squandered all 3 of them, including challenging the Edelman catch, which I wasn't mad about, but I wasn't in favor of. Someone's got to get in head coach Dan Quinn's ear and say, look, he caught that. Don't challenge that. I understand it's one of those situations where you don't have a lot of time. Patriots are rushing up to the line of scrimmage. You don't want him to snap it in case he didn't catch it. I get it. It's a bang-bang situation. I can't even be mad at him. As much as I didn't want him to challenge that, you got to challenge that catch. And it was a catch. Let's move on to some more of your comments. Kasai says, play calling at the end was so bad for the Falcons. Again, you could call it bad play calling. I'm not going to put it on the coaching staff. You got to go out and execute. They didn't execute. They just didn't. Rarely even says, wow, Lou, unreal. 2 words. Football gods. What a Super Bowl. He's a Buccaneers fan, so he wanted the Falcons to lose. So this was probably like heaven for him. Next to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to my man Ree. Newscaster News 4 says, Falcons offense disappeared in the second half. That cost Atlanta this game. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that is essentially, don't talk about the defense. Don't you dare. Because the defense was the reason they built that 28-3 lead. They dominated in the first half. They got no help in the second half. They were on the field way too much because the offense took their foot off the gas pedal in the second half. Adrian Hernandez says, I could tell how butthurt Roger Goodell was handing over that trophy. I didn't see it, but I knew a lot of people wanted to see him have to give Tom Brady that trophy. And I know the Patriots loved every second of that he had to hand that trophy. And I know Twitter and social media went nuts. that he had to give that trophy over to Tom Brady. And you know what? That was justice served. That was retroactive justice for his ass. Because he was dead ass wrong for that suspension and Deflategate. Sean Mack says, horrible play calling on offense that second half, and the defense got gassed out. Yeah, I agree with at least half of that statement. Again, you can blame play calling all you like. The Falcons offensively just didn't execute. They called a lot of the same stuff they called in the first half, and it just didn't work in the second half. Guys didn't execute. And so you call it what you want. Bottom line is they didn't get it done. You know, and that some of that responsibility does fall in the lap of the coaches, but most of it falls in the laps of the players. They have to find a way to get it done, and they didn't. Andrew Kim says Beasley should have one-handed that. He was shut down. You talking about that pass in the end zone that if he picks off, game's over? Come on, man. You asking a defensive lineman / outside linebacker to one-hand a pick. Come on, man. Stop your nonsense, AK, man. Stop. You're asking for too much now, man. Stop your nonsense. Let's get to some more comments here. And I just did something stupid. I just refreshed everything, so I just missed a ton of your comments. Hopefully I can get back to where I was. Let's see. No, I can't get back to where I was. And I apologize for all the comments that I missed. But I just refreshed my video. Why? I don't know. But I just skipped over a ton of your comments. I'm sorry. Sergio Pinto Tapia says, now that football season is over. I got nothing to watch. You're like everybody else. You know, you hate the end of football, but football season never ends. Now we're going to just jump right into the draft. The combine is in 2 weeks. We'll be talking draft. We'll be talking about these players for the next 2.5 months until the draft gets here in late April. And then next thing you know, we'll be talking about, you know, the draft and kind of breaking those down. You know how we do it, man. Football season never ends, but you just got to turn your attention to basketball now. So that's what it is. Cassie says, let's go to the draft, period. Now I can't wait for your input on the prospects this year. And that's the next order of business. I mean, this was an epic way to end the season, though. Brian Emerson says, what did you think of the halftime show? I didn't watch the halftime show. I did my own halftime show, so I didn't actually see it. And again, if you had a comment, and I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes. We're going to stop this at midnight. It's 11:45 Eastern Standard Time. To get your comments back up here again, I apologize for refreshing the video and missing a lot of your comments because there were so many more comments to get through. So I would like to have you guys come back with your comments if you have something to say that I may have missed because I refreshed the video. If not, I've read all the comments, and this was incredible. I'm blown away at what took place in this game, how the Patriots were able to battle back. I picked the Patriots to win the game. The last 2 Super Bowls, I've basically been spot on. And last year, I was dead on. I was like I had almost the score exact. Damn, I almost had the damn score exact in this game. I said the final score in this game was going to be 27-29 Patriots. It ended up being 34-28 Patriots. So, I mean, I've been dangerously close the last 2 years, and this was a hell of a way to end the playoffs, indeed. All right, so we got some more comments, so I'll start knocking some of these out. Corey Fitterman says, they can't hate. All they can do is congratulate and appreciate. Hashtag put some respect on their name, that being the Patriots. Brian Emerson says, to all the Falcons fans, I know what you're feeling from my team coming so close to winning it in Super Bowl 43 and losing it. That coming from an Arizona Cardinals fan. And he's talking about the loss to the Steelers when San Antonio Holmes had the toe tap catch on the sidelines at the end of that game. So he definitely can feel your pain. Mo Hunnett says, that catch Edelman made was the most amazing catch I've ever seen. I still think that in terms of Super Bowls, the David Tyree catch was better than that one. But it reminded me so much of that catch. That Edelman grab reminded me so much of that David Tyree catch. And that's when I knew the Patriots were going to win this game. Sergio Pinto Tapia says, no, Lou, I will never watch a basketball game. That sucks and it's too soft. Hey, I tried. All I can do is throw it up there, man. I threw up that alley-oop. You didn't want to dunk it. That's all good, man. I'm not mad at you. Ashley Alexander says, I told the homies that Brady's run up the middle for the long first down run was game over for Atlanta. That was a hell of a scramble. And when Brady starts running, your ass is in trouble. So you were right about that. You knew something before we all did. But I was looking around like, did you just see Brady just run for like 15? That's not good. That's not supposed to happen. That's not good. So you were on to it a little bit earlier than the rest of us were. But yeah, Brady running for about 15 on 3rd and 6. That's never a good thing. That's not a good look for your team at all. DeMonte Barino says, Falcons' legendary season will go unnoticed due to this loss. In fact, I believe the Falcons had an overall better season. That's generally what happens when you come in second place. You know, the Patriots went 17-0 in the regular season and the postseason and got to the Super Bowl and lost. No one remembers the runner-up. It's all about the champs. The champ is here! And I told you, this postseason was all about getting the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. And the Patriots went and got the money, man. They went and got, when it was money time, those boys stepped up and went and got the money. And the Falcons said, here, you can have mine. I don't want to spend this. You can have it. They didn't know what to do with it. And when you've never been here, when you've never been in this position before, you don't know what to do with the money. The Patriots say, hey, man, it's time to go get that money. And the Falcons was like, what money? The Patriots said, don't worry about it. You don't know nothing about that. Don't worry about it. We got it. Josh Berman says, Super Bowl 47 is the best day of my life, but this was a great game. Rarely Even says, watch the halftime show, Lou. Lady Gaga did a great job. It was entertaining. Again, y'all asking me to do a lot, man. I'm not a halftime show guy. The only halftime show that I watched, sad enough, was Prince. I don't watch many halftime shows. I'm mad I missed the Janet Jackson one once upon a time. I would have loved to have watched that one. Damn it. But I heard it was a good halftime show, but I was doing my own halftime show. You know I didn't watch. Eagle Speech says, all I can hope for is that the Hawks to win, as if that's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, you're going to go another year with the Atlanta sports teams not winning a chip. Sorry. Mox J says, I like the pugilistic analogy to this game. What's your favorite prize fight of all time? I'm a Hagler-Hearns guy, man. Those 3 rounds, you can't get much better than that, man. That was some good-ass fighting right there. Those two slugging it out for 3 rounds. Hagler eventually knocking out Thomas Hearns. That's me all day right there. Sign me up for that. If you're talking 12 rounds of just war, then sign me up for some Chavez, like I mentioned earlier, Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. But if you want your money's worth quickly, the 3 rounds of Hagler-Hearns, you can't beat that. Newscaster News 4 says, the Falcons fans may think they're cursed, but the Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1957. Well, they haven't won a road playoff game since 57. I got corrected on that. See, they beat me up for that. They've won a home playoff game. They beat the Cowboys in 91 because they played the Redskins in the NFC Championship game. But they haven't won a championship, I think, is since 57. So I think that might be what you're referencing. So, yes, if that's the case, then you are correct. Ofo says down 21-3. You were down 28-3 in this game, bruh. It was a 25-point deficit in this game. All right? Remember, the touchdown and the missed extra point cut it to 28-9. You were down 28-3 in this game. Down 25. Unbelievable. Rarely Even says, what's your favorite commercial, Lou? The commercials were horrible in this. I think the Hawaiian Rolls commercial might have been the best. Like, T-Mobile had 3 different commercials, and all of them were garbage. Like, you know what? The commercials, they're getting worse and worse every year. I've said this for the last 3 or 4 years. And then you see half of them before the Super Bowl even takes place. Like, I saw like 5 of those commercials just on YouTube. So, I mean, you don't even get to be surprised when you see him anymore either. So, I didn't think the commercials were all that great either. Sergio Pinto Tapia says, don't be surprised if the Falcons miss the playoffs like Cam Newton and the Panthers did this year. The Falcons losing Kyle Shanahan and an offensive-minded coach, it could happen. And that's why I said for Matt Ryan's legacy, this was huge because there's no guarantee that you get back here again. There's no guarantees. There's no promises. Do you see a promise face here? There's no promises here. You don't get to do this again next year. Oh, we'll get them next time. There may never be a next time. They needed to get this one. And they dropped the ball. So this stings. It really stings. Sean Mack says, am I the only one that now has to deal with Mr. Clean being ruined now? That Mr. Clean commercial was horrible. Really? Like, what are we doing here, man? That was like the third sex commercial I saw. Is that what we've been reduced to? Like, in order to sell something or get people's attention, you got to go all raunchy and nasty on us? Mr. Clean as a sex symbol? That's what we doing now? T-Mobile lady was having phone sex over getting overages and extra charges. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? Got to be more careful, man. Got to be more careful. Marco Van Basten says, I think the NFL will get bigger in the UK after this game. I hope it does. You know, I'm all for expansion. I'm all for people being exposed to the best that the NFL has to offer, and this was among the best the NFL had to offer. It turned out to be a really good game. Newscaster News 4 says, there's always NASCAR to watch in the offseason, haha. Well, you'll be watching that by your damn self because I don't partake in that at all. We got 6 minutes left, 11:54. See if we can get to any more comments. Tiger Player 9 says, is Trey Flowers the best D lineman on the Patriots? He's one of the best. I really like Trey Flowers, and I talked about him when they drafted him, and I said, this guy, if they develop him correctly, could be a stud for them. And he's turned out to be everything that I thought he could be for them. Ashley Alexander says, if I was Julio, I'd be mad as hell for not getting more targets. He was eating up the Patriots secondary. I agree. And I actually said early in the game, they needed to get him the football more. And then they started to get him the ball, and he got involved, and he made plays. I don't think he had a target that he didn't catch in this game. I think they threw it to him 5 times, and I think he caught all 5 of those passes. They needed to throw at him more. And you want me to tell you what else? I don't think they actually took Malcolm Butler and singled him up with Julio the entire game. I think it was a side thing. I think they didn't travel him. Whatever side Julio was on, that's the guy he got, whether it was Logan Ryan or Malcolm Butler. They should have thrown the ball to him more. Now, granted, they were paying attention to his ass. There were plays where I saw Julio looking for the rock, and there were 3-4 Patriot defenders with eyeballs on him. But he's Julio Jones. Throw him the goddamn ball. Please. I agree with you. If I'm Julio Jones, Julio! I'd be pissed off too. Should have got more targets. Sergio Pinto Tapia says, I wanted Bob Kraft to snatch the microphone from Goodell's hands and cuss his ass off the stage. That would have been epic. Again, I didn't watch that, but you know he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't disrespect Roger Goodell like that. Still the commissioner. Craig Smith says, why the hell would you challenge a play that would have been reviewed at the 2-minute warning? They blew the game on so many levels. Well, the Patriots were going to rush up to the snap and snap the ball before the 2-minute warning. So it wouldn't have gotten to the 2-minute warning. If he didn't challenge that and he didn't know at the time that it was a catch, he wasn't going to get a chance to get to the 2-minute warning because the Patriots had already hurried to the line of scrimmage. They were going to snap the football well before the 2-minute warning with about 2:05, 2:06 left. So that one wasn't going to make it to the 2-minute warning. So he either had to challenge or he's going to miss his opportunity. I didn't like the challenge, but I wasn't mad at him. I wasn't glad, but I wasn't mad either because I understood where he was coming from. Sean Mack says, shit, yeah, bro. Still watch Hagler Hearns on YouTube to this day. Come on, man. If you're a boxing fan, that's the one, man. That's the granddaddy of them all right? I will watch Hagler Hearns right now. Like, I will leave this table from you and watch Hagler Hearns, man. The fight is that good. And it doesn't take long, man. Just 3 rounds of pure war. Love it, man. I wish boxing was still like that. It's not like that anymore. The best doesn't fight the best anymore. It's the problem. We got to wait 6 years till dudes are past their prime. Look, this is not a boxing show. I'm going to stop now. Let's keep going. We got 3 minutes left. Let me get to some more of your comments. Jay Orion says, is Tom Brady the greatest NFL player ever? Player ever? I don't know. Quarterback, absolutely. But quarterback to me is the hardest position to play, so I guess you could say yes to that. Brian Ma says, what kind of food did you have at your party? Just your standard. I had chili. We had chili chips, dip, chicken, pizza, cake, ice cream, and bunch of liquor. Beer and liquor. So we had probably the standard party package in our household. But it was awesome. Victor Martinez says, I see your Hagler Hearns and I raise you a Barrera Morales now. There was some wars there. Anytime you get Mexican fighters fighting each other, normally you're going to get some wars because Mexican fighters have pride. They don't like to back down. They don't like to take steps backwards. It's all about coming forwards. It's all about showing your machismo. I get it. I sign me up for a Barrera Morales. I think they fought like 2 or 3 times. Those fights, classics, man. Classics. Rarely even says, I feel bad for Falcons fans, Lou. Honestly. No, you don't. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to them. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that, Ree. And finally, my man, B.E. Brian Emerson says, your thoughts on Larry returning for 1 more year? I never thought he was going to retire in the first place, and he's got more football left in him. I think he wants to have another shot at it, and so we'll see what happens. Rarely even says, blowing a lead like this is improbable in basketball, let alone football. Man, it's tough to do. This was really, really tough to do, but the Falcons found a way to do it. Sergio Pinto Tapia says, I see the difference between the Pats and the Skins. I didn't believe it or want to see it, but the Skins fan in me never wants to pay attention. Now I see it. We got years of work to go. Anytime you watch the playoffs and your team doesn't make it, you get to see what your team is missing. Corey Fitterman says, I was saying that they can't hate on Brady. All they can do is congratulate and appreciate, put some respect on it. Absolutely. Can't hate on the Patriots, can't hate on Brady. No doubt. Sean Mack says, Canelo versus Chavez Jr. What do you think, bro? Chavez Jr. is overrated. Canelo's going to kill him, and I don't think it's going to be close. I've seen Chavez beaten by lesser fighters. He's only propped up because of his dad and his name. He's a bum. And I think Canelo's going to wipe the floor with him. But we'll see when that fight takes place in May. Can't wait. May the 6th, I believe it is. Chavez will get his ass whooped. Mark my words. Rarely even says, you got me, Lou. LOL. I know I do. You ain't fooling nobody, man. You ain't got a lot of us. It's midnight. Last comment, Corey Fitterman says, and you know I'm a diehard Skins fan saying that about the Patriots. Indeed, I understand what's going on here, man. It's all good. Wow. Patriots. They did it again, this time in epic, dramatic, come-from-behind fashion. Down 25 points in the third quarter, 28-3. The Patriots battle back, tie the game at 38, take it to 28, take it to overtime, and win the toss, take the football first, and win the game in overtime on the first possession with a touchdown by running back. I want to say it was James White. 34-28. Brady wins his 5th Super Bowl. So does head coach Bill Belichick. Unprecedented run for the Patriots. They just continue to defy the odds as they continue to rewrite history in the National Football League. Brady, the first quarterback to win 5 Super Bowls. Bill Belichick, the first head coach to go to 7 Super Bowls. Winning his 5th, the only coach to do so. Remarkable. Just flat out remarkable. That's going to do it for your man, Louie T. What a night it was. Patriots getting it done. Who saw this coming? To all the Falcons fans out there, what a hell of a season. Didn't end the way you wanted it to. Didn't see all my Falcons fans that I normally see. Didn't expect to see them. I understand. I get it. I know what this is about. Keep your head up. You're building something. Now the offseason is about making all the right moves, figuring out who's going to replace Kyle Shanahan as your offensive coordinator. keeping everything intact, continuing to draft well. You had a hell of a draft. Austin Hooper contributed, Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, Byron Poole, the list goes on. And he wasn't even a draft pick. He was an undrafted rookie. Thomas Dimitroff, hell of a job. You're going to need him to do that again because the Falcons absolutely killed it this year in the draft. They're going to need to do it again if they want to come back and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl yet again in 2017, 2018. It's going to do it for your man Louie T in the Super Bowl coverage. It's been a fun week. It was a hell of a game. Way to cap off the postseason. Now we're officially on hiatus. 6 months without NFL football. Can you stand it? Hopefully I'll be able to help you get through this long layoff. You know where to find me, and you know nonstop coverage here on the Louie Tee Network. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content. We're going to change the game over here. One live feed at a time. You know how it goes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network. Go ahead and sub up. For all of you who already have, thank you for joining me. It's been another successful season. We're really going to change the game next year. Everything is about to change. I want you guys to be a part of that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. For all of you out there watching, for all of you who commented, for all of you who have supported, thank you. This is going to do it for me tonight. Patriots win again. 34-28 in the first ever overtime Super Bowl. What a thrilling come-from-behind victory for the New England Patriots. What a devastating and detrimental loss to the Atlanta Falcons, who seem to be in control of this football game before letting it slip through their fingers. I'm your man, Louie T, telling you, take care of yourself. Come back as I'll break down the draft and all of the things leading up to it right here on the Louie Tee Network. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Good night, and God bless. Have a good one. Take care.
You're not lying. You want it on the damn floor?
No, it's too late.
No point. You got one. You want another one too? I don't get it. One more. I said that too. Y'all see what happened? I said we need a pet now. We're gonna blow them out to them. Then your ass whipping tonight. Yeah, keep this shit out of their ass.